All right, let's see. I'm just waiting for the attendee number to kind of slow down because I think people are being entered into the webinar a little at a time. Right now we have 176 attendees, which is super exciting. Really glad that all of you have made the time to be here with us today. As a reminder, we are recording today so that for anyone who cannot be here with us live, or for any of you who want to revisit parts of the conversation, you'll be able to do that at a later date. We will send a link when that is ready to go. Okay, I think we're ready to start. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Lauren Kenny. I am the Director of Client Experience here at Guide Dogs for the Blind, and we're happy to have you join us for an update on how we are scheduling classes and for wait times. I have some fantastic panelists with me here today, and we thought we would start with everyone just introducing themselves. So I'm going to kind of go around as you appear on my screen. So Susan, you're my upper left-hand corner. So welcome, Susan.
Thanks, Lauren. Welcome, everyone. We're so excited to have you all join us today. My name is Susan Armstrong. I am the VP of Client Programs, which means I oversee our Guide Dog program, our Canine Buddy program, and our own Orientation Mobility Immersion program.
A lot of things. Thank you, Susan. Cheryl, hello.
Hi, thanks, Lauren. Hello, everyone. I'm Cheryl Vincent. I'm the Director of Training and Field Services at our Oregon campus. Looking forward to talking with you today.
Thanks, Cheryl. Ryan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. This is Ryan Garrett. I'm the admissions manager, and I will be answering questions in the Q&A today. Happy to have everyone here.
Thank you, Ryan. We also have Vanessa Lyons with us today.
Hi, everyone. My name is Vanessa Lyons. I am the Director of Training and Field Services on our California campus, and I hope you find today's update helpful.
Excellent. Thanks, Vanessa. And then finally, we have Lynn Dubinsky with us today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lynn Dubinsky. I'm the VP of Client Engagement and Impact, and I support advocacy, alumni, the residents, youth, and outreach. And also really happy to be here today and to give everyone an update.
Thank you, Lynn. So we feel hopeful and, shall I say, confident that we will be able to answer your questions as they come up today. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to start with a few kind of housekeeping items for everybody as we get started. First, I wanted to make sure that everyone is aware again that today's meeting, for those who are just arriving, is being recorded. So we will be sending out a link when that recording is ready to everyone who received the initial invite so that you can view that link, view this video at a later time should you like to. Also, to let folks know that we have disabled the chat for today. I know that can be difficult with screen readers to have that going. And so all questions should go through the Q&A. I'm aware that, and we are aware that if you are calling in from a phone, the Q&A is really challenging to be able to use. So for those of you that find that you are in that situation, probably the best thing to do would be to email us questions if by the end of the meeting we have not responded to your question to the iGraduate support at guidedogs.com. That's the support center email. Again, it's the letter I, graduate support at guidedogs.com. For those who can access Q&A, you can put a question in the Q&A. Ryan will be, as he said, throughout our meeting today, monitoring those. If there's a question that he can answer, he will answer it. And if there's one that would be helpful for our whole group of attendees to hear, he may hold that till the end. As a reminder, we do ask that any questions that you ask in the Q&A really about, clarifying question around the information that we're sharing today versus information on your individual situation. Because there are now, 217 people on the call, it's really hard for us to be able to respond to questions about individual situations. We'll let you know where to pose those questions as we wrap up today. I think that is probably most of our housekeeping items. So let's go over what the goals for today are, kind of loosely discuss our agenda so folks are aware. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk to you all about how our guide dog classes are currently being filled. We're going to talk about wait time, specifically for training with a guide dog, and we'll give you some updates on that. We're also going to talk about who you should contact if you have questions about your wait time. And then we're going to talk a little bit about our plan for some ongoing communication and connections for those people who are waiting to train with a guide dog, but really for our whole client community in general. So to start us off and talking about how classes are currently being filled, I'd like to pass the mic over to Vanessa, who's going to walk us through that part of our agenda today.
Thank you, Lauren.
Of
Hello,
course.
everyone, again. So we have some good news to share today. Good news since our last update about scheduling clients into class. So you may be aware that for a stretch of time post-pandemic, we were scheduling all clients into classes with very little notice. So for example, all clients for a particular class were being called approximately 1 to 2 weeks prior to that class start date. And this was because of the volume of dogs that we were training and our desire to confidently schedule clients for class and avoid any disappointment we could avoid or inconvenience to you should we not ultimately have that best match for you. So we've made progress. But before I explain sort of where we are right now, I want to give everyone some background information because I think it will help build understanding. So this is meant to be background about the system we've really always had in place. So we have clients who, because of the kind of dog that we are looking to match them with, those clients can be pre-scheduled for a class. So a really simple example would be someone who travels at a moderate pace, what we would label as a moderate pace. That's a more common pace to travel at. And this person is also open to the best match. So for these clients, we'll pre-schedule them into class when they're accepted or as soon as we have class dates available. So that's kind of the first group, if you will. The second group is clients who, again, because of the kind of dog we're looking to match them with, will be waiting until we identify that specific dog. And then we will we'll be communicating with that client and be confirming the class schedule or dates that will work for all. So in these cases, we might be looking for a dog with a less common combination of qualities. An example here would be someone who travels at a faster walking pace and would be best matched with a dog who is very confident working in a very heavy city environment. So this combination of qualities could also be influenced by what a client has identified as something that's a must-have for them, like a certain color of dog, only a black Labrador, or breed, only a golden retriever, as examples. This could also be someone who is receiving in-home training versus training on one of our campuses. So this system that I'm trying to describe is one, like I said, we've always had in place. We're going to pre-schedule some clients, and then we're going to leave some openings in each class for those clients we'll need to schedule later or once we've identified that dog for them. Now, it's important to note with all this description that this is the system at its most basic level. It also isn't that simple at the same time. So we're managing other variables like cancellations. We may have planned for a class of a certain size, and as we get closer, we see an opportunity to train 2 additional clients in that class, and we'll seize that opportunity and put those wheels into motion. And I'm sharing these examples just to point out that there are a variety of reasons that may lead us to contacting someone closer to the beginning of a particular class to see if we can schedule them for that class. So less notice for that individual person. So that's the background. That's the system we've, like I said, sort of always had. And so where are we now? We have scheduled some clients into each guide dog class through the end of 2025. So that's the good news. And our 2020 schedule is in the works. And when it's available, we'll continue to pre-schedule some clients. Now, when I was describing the background, sort of the system that's always been in place, I mentioned, those clients would be receiving their class dates at the time of that they are accepted. We're not quite at that point, but we are working toward it. But everyone who is being pre-scheduled is receiving class dates well in advance. Okay. Now, currently, we also have a subgroup of clients, if you will, who travel at a faster pace, but this isn't in combination with other dog qualities or client must-haves that would mean this person would need to be on the wait list traditionally. But currently, we're managing this situation a little differently, and I want to describe that. So currently, this group of clients will also be waiting for a specific dog to be identified before we confirm their training dates. So why is this different? It's because we currently have a higher number of clients in this subgroup, if you will, and that's pandemic related. So that group has grown over time, and we're catching up, if you will. And then we also have an overall smaller population of dogs entering training. And that's really both of those, it's both of those factors. Now there's some more good news in here, and that is that of all the dogs we train, we are consistently producing the same percentage of dogs who ultimately are going to travel in that faster pace range and match with these clients that I'm describing. This has been steady year over year. But when you start with a smaller number to begin with, that percentage and the number of dogs in that group would be smaller as well. Okay. I hope this was helpful info. This is a good point, I think, to pass things to Cheryl, who's going to speak more about our current dog population and wait time and the number of clients we anticipate serving in the coming year.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Yeah.
Vanessa talked a little bit about the different buckets, if you will, as far as wait times, and I'll get into that in a second. And realizing this really is not the first time we've talked about our dog population, so we really wanted to touch on this again and give you an update on some of the wait times. Vanessa mentioned the pandemic, and I know some people are thinking, oh, that was a long time ago, but it really did have an effect on our organization, and it changed the variables that influenced GDB's dog population. Both the dogs we have in our programs currently and the dogs that we're planning for, which is all linked ultimately to the number of clients we can serve and your wait time. Our dog population previous to the pandemic was very stable. The pandemic and Stargards had, like I said, a big impact, and it led to the formation of our population management group. A little disclaimer about this group. We cannot possibly go into all the ins and outs of our dog population and what we look at, but we want to give you an overview of this group's work and the kind of things we look at when we make decisions about how many dogs to breed, because that relates to how many clients served 2 years down the line. Because you get the puppy, takes like a year and a half-ish to raise, and then time to train it. This population management group is an interdisciplinary group with representation from training and field services, client experience, our breeding department, our neonatal department, puppy raising, veterinary department, and our research and development department. We meet regularly And we also have updates and deliverables due to our executive team as well as to our board of directors. We apply various tools, monitor resources, capacities, including our staffing. Our goal is to make proactive data-informed decisions. And with this knowledge and consideration for impacts across the entire system, no portion of our dog programs are functioning in a silo. It's all really strongly connected. So there's several examples of things that we monitor. So I wanted to let you know of them. First of all, our upcoming litters with the estimated number of puppies based on ultrasound information. We also monitor the number of puppies in our puppy center. The building has a capacity and we need to monitor that so our moms and pups get the best care. The size of our breeding colony, how many dogs we add to the colony and retire from the colony each year. It's important because a colony needs to be large enough so that we can have enough females coming into season often enough so that our breeding manager can make choices in which dogs to breed. And so that we can also keep a steady flow of puppies being born and use our capacity of our puppy center well and consistently. And sometimes there are factors out there that control things, such as Mother Nature. You might plan for a breeding and you're hoping for a litter of maybe 7 or 8 puppies and maybe you get 4. Mother Nature has an effect on that. Also, the size of our breeding colony, it's currently smaller than we want. We're still working on rebuilding our breeding colony from the effects of the pandemic. And it takes time to rebuild as we add and retire dogs from that colony each year. The breeding stock dogs come from the same overall pool as our overall dog population. So we can't pull these dogs from our dog population all at the same time, because if we did that, they would all have to retire at the same time. And that would be a problem years down the road. And also we need enough dogs to produce BERT guides as well. We're also monitoring the availability of puppy raising homes. Even if you breed all the dogs that you wanted, you still have to have enough puppy raising homes to put them in. We are monitoring training dogs recalled per month. How many are still in consideration for breeding, and that has an impact on our veterinary team. The more dogs that come in being considered for breeding, the more medical procedures they go through, and then if they don't become a breeding dog, the more spays and neuters of the dogs. And it's important information so that our veterinary team can be prepared. And we're also monitoring all the dogs that are in training at any one time. So number of dogs currently training, number of dogs graduated, and the wait time the clients are experiencing. Again, this is not all comprehensive, but I hope it gives you an idea of the kinds of things we're monitoring and using to inform decisions that impact all parts of the organization involved in producing guide dogs. Our best forecast tells us that we can serve approximately 200 to 215 clients in the upcoming year, because the dogs who will be guides for clients in the next year are already currently being raised in homes. And next, I'd like to give you an average wait time for those who are, for those of you who are waiting. And as Vanessa mentioned, there's different categories here of wait time. And also, please remember, this is an average wait time. Some might have a little less, some might be a little more. So the first category, the average wait time for those who are pre-scheduled for a class that Vanessa talked about, that's about 13 months. The current average wait time for a waitlist person who has a specific need, such as a particular breed, a golden retriever only, for example, that wait time is currently about 18 months. Our current average wait time for those waiting for in-home training is about 24 months. And then the current average wait time for those traveling at a faster pace that Vanessa talked about, that's currently about 20 months. If it was as easy as first come, first served, it would be easier to predict the wait time. We are trying to serve those who have been waiting the longest first. And of course, we also have to keep in consideration making matches between people and dogs, living and breathing beings. It isn't as easy as waiting in line for the next available class-ready dog. You might be the next person up, but maybe the dogs available coming up don't quite match what you're looking for. I'd also like to take a moment to dispel a myth that we've heard recently circulating. We've heard that some people think that a person's age might influence their wait time. In other words, if a person is older or a senior citizen, that will wait longer or that we're not serving that. We've heard this on some in various ways. So this is just categorically not true. We have served many senior citizens and will continue to do so. We look at everyone's wants and needs in a dog, regardless of their age. And so just wanted to emphasize that we're not changing how we are serving our clients. What we are doing to address the wait time, there are some things that we're working on. First, building our puppy raising home capacity, building a strong breeding colony, increasing success rates in puppy raising and training. If we can make more guides while also keeping our high standards, we can serve clients. This is a main focus of all of ours. And we're really getting back to the breeding stock. We're really building back our capacity in dog production, but unfortunately it takes time due to the 2-year lag between birth and availability of guides and breeders. And we're aware of the impact, excuse me, on our clients, and we are doing everything in our power to address the needs as quickly as I can. And just want to say that we really appreciate each one of our waiting clients and working as hard as we can to meet their needs. We also are noting that our in-home wait list is larger than traditional. It has stacked up, as Vanessa had talked about, with the number of faster paced clients. The in-homes have stacked up as well. So it'd be reasonable to expect that we're looking at our resources carefully and completing more in-homes than what is traditional, looking at our staffing and see what we could do there as well. And at this point, I'd like to hand it off to Lauren.
Thank you, Cheryl and Vanessa. I know this is a lot of information that's come everyone's way in terms of how we are scheduling classes, things impacting wait time, and also generally what you can expect in terms of average wait time based on your particular situation, which category, if you will, that falls into. So I hope it's been helpful. Again, there will be a recording available if people want to go back and consult it. Also, if you do have a question and it hasn't yet been answered, you can put it in the Q&A because we will be answering those questions in a few minutes. What I'd like to talk a little bit about, as Cheryl said, is just talk about who you can contact regarding your individual situation if you have questions about wait time. And I'd also like to really try to help set some expectations about how much will we be able to answer? How much detail will we be able to give you when you ask that question so that everybody can be on the same page? We certainly understand that waiting is difficult. I know we've been saying this for a long time, and we do understand it's difficult to wait and it's difficult not to have a specific answer. We also know that sometimes it's the uncertainty as much as it is not having a date, even if you had a date that was further out. At least knowing that could be helpful. So it's the uncertainty in addition to the wait time. And again, for those that we can't give pre-schedule a class date for their specific reasons in terms of the particular match that you need and us really being able to identify that at that time that that dog shows up. So in terms of who you can call and who you can get connected to, our goal is that any staff person who you are talking with, who you've come in contact with, can answer generally the question about how long it might be until you get a guide dog. And we've been doing some work to make sure we have consistent messaging. We want you to hear the same message no matter who you're talking to, and for that to be an informed answer, which we have done some work on. Of course, the most direct way to get an answer to that question is to reach out to our support center and have the support center be able to guide you through that conversation. So that can be through a phone call, that can be through an email to them, and they will be able to talk with you more about your situation. Now, that said, as I've been talking about, if you're having a conversation with someone, you don't need to end that conversation and then call the support center. Folks should be able to respond to your questions. what will we be able to tell you? We should be able to give you information about the specific factors that are impacting wait time for your individual situation. So we'll go through, I see here that you either have or haven't, had particular deal breakers, as we would call them, or things that you're saying, I must have in a dog, or things that we've identified that are specific characteristics that you need to have in order to be successful based on, pace, manageability, things like that combined together, which may impact wait time. So we may not be able to say with 100% certainty, okay, you're going to get a dog within 12 months, and I can guarantee you that. But what we can say is, here are the factors that are impacting your wait time. Based on that information, what I can tell you is the average wait time for clients who fall within this category are waiting around this long. And we should be able to tell you generally where you fall on that list, in terms of where you are in folks that are waiting to train. Do know that that in and of itself doesn't always give you the exact answer, because there are all these factors come into play. It's not just a next person on the list gets a dog, as you know from what you've just heard from both Vanessa and Cheryl, but we should be able to give you some detail that would be helpful to you. We'd also like to talk with you a little bit about, what is a plan for ongoing communication and connection, because we do really want to own and acknowledge that we've heard feedback from some of you that you may not have heard anything in a while, and where we've been doing various things, working on trying to get folks served and managing population and really keeping our head down and doing that. For those of you who don't see all of that every day and you haven't heard anything, we understand that that can be disconcerting. And also it can add to your stress. And so what we would like to do is to come up with some ways that we have regular anticipated communication at expected points along the way while you're waiting for to be served to get your guide dog, but also just in general, what is an optimal amount of communication for us to be able to have with any client who's part of the GDB community. And we do want there to be opt-in opportunities, because we also realize some people might say, that's all great, but I don't need to be part of all of those things. So we're looking at setting up an opt-in system. The client experience team and the client experience division is, as you all hopefully know, is growing division, and this is on our radar as one of the things that we need to work on. And so what we'd like to do, and what our goal specifically is, again, organizational updates at a regular cadence. And that could be also sharing educational content to help you so that when you do train, you are feeling prepared as possible to come in. Q&A sessions, it could be Q&A sessions for folks just to be able to bounce questions off of us. Also offering resources to people, maybe doing just general support, having opportunities for support and resources. So all of these things are important. And so it will take us time to get all of that together. But what we'd like to start with, and what we'd like to commit to today as we're talking to you, is providing those quarterly organizational updates. So that information is going to be forthcoming in what format that will happen, whether it be a message that we email out, whether it be a Zoom meeting that we have, whether it's a recorded video that we send. That will be part of our communication plan, but we are committing to giving updates, organizational updates every quarter. So that's a first step in a communication plan that we can commit to today. You can expect by the beginning of the next fiscal year, which starts July 1st, that we will be able to share with all of you our broader communication plan. In addition to those quarterly updates that we're committing to today, what else will we be doing? What can you expect? And to have that by the beginning, early on in the next fiscal year, so that we're not just talking about it, but we're explaining how we're going to be doing it. So I think now would probably be a good time to go over to some questions. I know folks have started to ask some questions. Ryan has answered some of those directly, and there are some that we have marked to be asked live. And Ryan, I guess I will ask if you feel ready to share some of those questions at this point. You might be in the middle of typing something.
Yes, there was a flurry of questions, so I'll continue answering what I can, but we've also marked a decent handful for answering live. So
Okay.
first one, this is a good one for Vanessa or Cheryl. Judy Clark asks, what are the signs that a dog might be slowing down in terms of working?
Oh yeah, I can take that. It's Vanessa. Well, I'll have a disclaimer here at the beginning. Every situation is different, right? Of course, it's going to depend on your individual dog and you. But some general signs to start looking for are things like less stamina. Maybe your dog doesn't seem as ready to get going, or as ready to go as long, if you will. Less stamina. Or maybe they seem a little less agile to get up from when they've been laying down for a period of time, or to get in and out of the car. Or if you happen to let your dog on the couch or the bed, your bed is what I mean. Maybe you're noticing it's not as easy for them to get on and off something that's at that height. So things like that can start to show, be symptoms of maybe there's some arthritis going on, or maybe some pain associated with that. Those are some general signs. But again, it is individual. And if we can be of help at all in talking about you and your individual dog, we are here. A plug calling the support center, maybe working with your local vet as well, to start to talk about that as you near that period of time.
All right, thanks, Vanessa. Eric has a question. Does this have anything to do with the Canine Buddy program? Why don't we have enough guide dogs?
I can take that one. This is Cheryl. Thank you, Eric, for the question. All the dogs, when they come in for training, first go through the guide dog process. So we look at which dogs are suitable for guide dogs. And if a dog is not suitable for a guide dog, then it potentially might be suitable for a canine buddy. So those canine buddy dogs are not taken away from guide dog spots, so to speak. So they all go through guide dogs, and like I said, if the dog isn't suitable for that work, then we look at it for the different programs. So no, it doesn't have the canine buddy does not have a effect as to why there are fewer dogs for guide dogs.
Okay, thanks, Cheryl. I think this is an important one. Gordon asks, what if you go through training and the dog needs to be reworked? Would you have to go to the back of the wait list?
I can start to answer that one. It's Vanessa. It's a great question, Gordon. If someone has recently graduated with their guide and there's something that happens with their guide dog. I'm trying to think of an example here off the top of my head, and I'm not coming up with one, but something like that happens, and that team isn't going to continue. We absolutely want to work with that person. We'll look at that individual situation, and we would be wanting to work with that person to reserve them as soon as we can. So it's not a go back to the end of the line kind of situation. If that is helpful. I hope that helps answer your question. It is, again, individual, and we'll work directly with a person that is in that kind of situation. So I hope I'm answering your question fully enough. If anyone wants to add, feel free to jump in.
Did a good
Okay,
job, Vanessa.
thanks, Vanessa. Um, Shane asks, which of this long list of factors, if any, is currently bottlenecking the process? Obviously, breeding slowed down during COVID, but were there limits in some of these factors 2 years ago that are resulting in the current backlog?
This is Cheryl. I'll do my best on this, and everyone else feel free to jump in. I think the factors that we mentioned and the things I talked about that we're monitoring, those all had to do with the quote unquote backlog. Basically, if we had a plethora, of more dogs, we'd be able to serve more people right now. And so getting that up and going, although is can be frustrating, we realize, but getting our breeding back up, and then also puppy homes and all of that would, it all has an effect as far as the number of clients that we can serve. And Susan, I see you jump, did you want to add to that?
I did. This is
Yeah.
Susan, and you kind of covered at the intro, but really, I think that that's been one of the things that has been most impactful and what we've learned as far as all along the way in the process of what we do can impact the outcome at the end. So as Cheryl said, as far as how many dogs you breed, how many puppy raiser homes you have, how many dogs that you have that come into training that actually make it as guides, that also has an effect. So what I will say, the long list of factors is really they all impact the current state of things.
It's Lauren, and I think one other thing to add too is, as we're rebuilding our breeding colony, we're balancing, right, bringing in the new breeding dogs, adding new dogs to become breeders with looking at those dogs about their ability to become a guide dog, right? Because we don't want to take all dogs at once to become breeders, and then those dogs aren't available to become guides. So we have to balance that as well. So there's a lot of balls in the air, but I think sounds like the answer we all came to is it's everything, and hopefully that answered your question, Gordon.
All right, we have a couple questions just about pace. What is a moderate pace? What is a slower pace? Vanessa or Cheryl, is there any detail you can provide on that?
Sure, I can be pretty specific here because we do have the chart right up here on my wall as far as our pace rangers. We use an app called Runkeeper where we actually check and see what a dog's pace is, what a client's pace is, an applicant's pace on the home interview. And for us, a moderate pace is between 3.0 to 3.4 miles per hour. Above moderate is 3.5 to 3.9 miles per hour, and a brisk pace, we look at 4.0 to 4.4 miles per hour. So those are our pace ranges of our clients and dogs.
Yeah, it's Vanessa. I
right.
think I saw one question, Ryan, asking what faster meant exactly, because we've used that word or that label in today's conversation. And so just to answer that question directly, by faster, when we were trying to describe that sort of subgroup of clients and a faster pace or in the faster pace range, that would be the above moderate or brisk that Cheryl was describing. So anything above moderate. And then of course there are a group of people who travel slower than moderate pace as well. And there's that wide range of paces that dogs and people can travel at.
Let's mix a fun one in here. Tony asks, will you ever run out of names for the guides? And how are the names chosen?
So we have a group of people, a committee that actually oversees the names, the naming of the puppies and what the actual names are. Because as you can imagine, over years, certain names may just be more appropriate than a name from many years ago. But in general, the way it works is every litter of puppies is assigned a letter. So there could be, we'll just say P, and maybe the dogs in the litter are named Poppy and Puzzle and Popeye or whatever you want to put in there. And in addition to that, if a dog is career changed or retired is when we will recycle that name, because you can imagine there's many dog names to name. And so we have to be able to reuse a name if it's no longer in service. And we want to make sure it's a name that's fairly easy to say for our clients, of course. And naming that many puppies a year and having a whole bunch of guides out in the field, you can imagine some of them are a little creative here and there, but that's basically how the situation works.
All right, thanks, Cheryl, and thank you, Lauren, for marking some of these for live answers in the background and trying to read through all these.
There's a lot coming in. Yeah.
um, Jean asks, is there a way to find out which group you are in, i.e. reschedule versus wait list due to a specific need?
I think I can grab that one, Ryan, and you can help me if you want, if you're not typing. Um, Yes, if you call and ask us about your individual situation, when I was talking about wanting everyone to be able to give a consistent message, so for staff to be able to answer that in the same way, it's by letting all of those staff people know how to give that information about which category, if you will, you're in. So if you're talking with us, it could because you're not sure, am I on a wait list or not? We can give you that information. It's all in our database. We can give that to you. We can clarify it for you, and then also be able to give you the general information about how that impacts your wait and average wait time. Anything you would add, Ryan?
No, sorry, I was typing.
I know, sorry, I'm asking you to multitask, which is unfair, but I want you to check me and make sure there isn't anything else to add. I think we got it.
Can breeders also be guides when not working to make puppies?
Vanessa, that's an interesting question. Um, so there are two pathways for a dog, really. When you talk about breeder and guide dog, become a breeder fully, or you become a guide dog fully. With one exception, and that is something that we call charter stock. And so these are, this isn't a high number of dogs per year. It's a smaller number of dogs, but these dogs will, they're still in the sort of selection process to become a breeder, if you will. And we begin training them. And assuming that all goes well, and there's all the selection process they need to go through to become a breeder, all that is looking good. They will will pause their training. They will go have a litter of puppies. These are generally female dogs. Go have a litter of puppies, then be spayed, and then return to training and finish out their training, and then become a guide dog. So it's a little bit of like the best of both worlds. We get to capitalize on their great genetics, and continue with their puppies, and then we also have this great amazing dog to become a guide dog. So that was a wordy description of that example, but that's the one kind of exception to a dog doing a little bit of both.
Thanks, Vanessa. I, With the political situation between Canada and the USA, has there been any issues with clients going to guide dogs or returning with their guide crossing the border?
It's Lauren, and I think Ryan, again, this could be you and I, and again, I realize I'm pulling you in two directions. Um, we are fully aware and concerned, as I'm sure all of you who are in Canada and probably everybody of our client, our family of clients are concerned about potential border challenges. At this point, while we have not heard that any of our clients have had an issue either coming in or returning home with a guide that are from Canada, we realize that this is an evolving situation and that things change. And so what I would say is we don't exactly know how that's going to go in the future, right? Um, if you have a situation where there's a specific reason where you're feeling concerned, we're always willing to talk about individual situations because one answer does not fit everyone's situation, right? Of why one person might be concerned and another is not. So, um, Ryan, do you have additional things that you would like to share in terms of experience that we've heard from folks from Canada coming in with a guide dog or going home?
Yeah, we've certainly heard concerns from incoming clients from Canada, but I can also say I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but we have had um, quite a few Canadian clients come through training just over the last several months at both campuses. At least one Canadian in almost every class, it feels like. So, um, and I have not heard of any issues coming into campus or going home with their guide dogs. So, yeah, I mean, we're like Lauren said, we'll be monitoring the situation, but fingers crossed, everyone continues to have smooth travels to and
I
from
will
class.
say, yeah, thank you, Ryan. I will say too that remain committed to serving and maintaining partnership with folks in Canada. That has not changed. That's not going to change. Also, I know there was a question someone had once about funding and whether there was governmental funding that would impact what we could do internationally. As many of you probably know, we are 100% donor funded. We have no government funding, so we are not our policies and how we do things is not dependent on government funding. So we have the ability to make those decisions without that particular pressure in terms of what we're doing. And that's really important. I think the things we can say for folks that are coming from Canada, to have your IDs available. You got a letter from GDB, write a travel letter. You can bring that with you. And just, to be keeping an eye on your local resources too, in terms of any changes for border. We don't have any other suggestions or information beyond that for you. But always feel comfortable to give us a call if you have questions, concerns. If you're coming from Canada and you want to talk it through, we're here to support you. We want you to be comfortable and we're a resource for you. So, and you are important to us.
Thanks, Lauren. This is a common question, not just for this Zoom, but also just in general. Um, you mentioned people on the wait list will often have less notice between their match and class dates. How long is this time usually? I can give my perspective, but also Vanessa or Cheryl from the training side of things. Um, it feels like the clients who are being called into class off the wait list, sometimes it can be 4 to 6 weeks in advance. Um, Sometimes it can also be 2 to 3 weeks in advance. So um, it's certainly less notice than for clients that we can pre-schedule, but we definitely try to give clients as much notice as possible in at least 2 weeks. Anything to add, Vanessa or Cheryl?
No, I think that was great, Ryan. I confess I was multitasking with the chat or the Q&A when you asked that question. So I was having my own moment. You were having us a minute ago. But I think I understand the question now that I've heard your answer. That all rings true. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just add it depends. There could be so many varying factors on that particular dog. Maybe we thought that dog might be a match for somebody else and we were planning that, and then that person pulled out at the last minute and decided not to have a guide dog. This is just one random example. And now that dog's available. And so we go to the next person on the list for that would match that dog. So that could be a potential reason.
Currently catching up on questions if anyone else.
Yeah, I can jump in. There's a couple questions that I think were clarifying questions for some of what I shared. One of the questions is the communication individualized or about general weighting? And I think that was probably in relation to my saying, a little bit about what we have planned for a communication plan and that we're going to do quarterly updates. Those quarterly updates will be generally about GDB. So it will be able to give some idea about what progress we're making, clients we've served, if anything else has changed. So where it may not be very specific to your individualized situation, there'll be information that will help you understand where you are in comparison to where you were during the previous update. But it's meant to capture, a lot of folks versus an individualized communication. However, we are realizing that that is important too, and thinking about how we also might accomplish some of that as part of our communication plan. But the initial piece is the organizational updates. So I hope I answered that question. Someone else asked a question too about what is a deal breaker, and that was language that I used. Forgive me, sometimes we use our internal jargon without even realizing. When I said a deal breaker, what I mean by that, there are some people that feel really strongly when you're talking at your home interview or with someone about what qualities or what you would like for a guide dog, and some people feel really strongly, I need a black male Labrador Retriever. And I'm willing to wait a little bit longer to get that because that's really important to me. That's what I mean when we say deal breaker. It's what are the things that you absolutely have to have in terms of your particular preferences for a match. And that's what I mean by deal breaker. Not it's specific to what's important to you versus anything that we're doing internally. So sorry for that, and I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, another way to say must have.
A
Right.
must-have.
Yeah.
Yeah, a must-have. I must have this thing. It's really important to me.
Yeah.
Okay. See, Ryan, if I can help out a little here as well. Um, Going through really quickly. Someone asked, had a creative idea. Have you thought about asking the Be My Eyes volunteers to recruit puppy raisers? I think we are always thinking about, looking at, wondering about where we might be able to identify people who are interested in raising. And we want to look and find folks who are interested in raising, and then as they learn about the program, stay with us and become raisers, right? Who continue through their interest into actively becoming a raiser. I would say that you also, clients, you are ambassadors for GDB, as you know, and if there are folks that you think would do a good job of being able to raise a dog and they are interested, that you can point them in our direction as well. We're always looking for ideas, suggestions, and people who are able to commit to that. So thank you for the creative idea. Ryan, were there other questions that you wanted to make sure we get to answer as well?
Sorry,
That's okay.
furiously typing away.
There was a question about whether if you're offered a class date and you defer, if that increases your wait time. And I think I can answer that one too. And Vanessa and Cheryl, you can jump in here as well. I think in some ways it depends. It depends on what's going on and is having you feel like you need to defer. Sometimes when we offer a class date, we have some flexibility if that class date doesn't work, to offer you one very soon after that to see if it's better, if it's, an unexpected trip you have to take or something of that nature. If it's more like I've had an injury or something's come up that changes the kind of dog I need, that might be a little bit different. So I think it depends on the nature of what is causing you to need to defer. And we want to work with you. I mean, we don't want you, to worry too much. We want to work together to see what's possible. Vanessa or Cheryl, would you add anything in terms of deferring a class date, adding to wait time?
I think that covers it. Thank you.
I know we're coming up close to end of our time. Susan, you looks like you may have something you want to add to our discussions.
I do. I actually want to address, there have been a couple questions about whether some feeling that guide dogs should prioritize retrains. And we are reading that question. I think I wanted to talk about that one because we aren't doing that. And that's been a conscious choice, not only now, but for the 30 years that I've been here. And I think that I understand that some people feel strongly that that's what we should do. I think for us, when you get into deciding which person you should prioritize, some of those things don't feel like we should be the ones to be the judge and jury of who would be prioritized first. And I understand you could say all retrains, but when you get into deciding that someone, the reason that they want a dog or they need a dog is it should be prioritized over another person, we feel like that's not a space that we want to be in, because we feel like we feel like people wanting a guide dog coming to us, they all have different needs. They all have different things that a guide dog is going to do for them, and we want to honor that. And so I hear, and we hear loud and clear, that some people feel that we should be doing it differently, but we have made a conscious choice, not only now, but in our past, to have people come to us, apply to us, we accept them, and that we feel like that's the fairest way to bring people through the system. And so I know it's kind of a crunchy topic, and I know that that answer might not be, what some people's opinion is, but I do want to say that we talk about it. We've talked about it I've been here 30 years. We've talked about it at different times in my career. I think we know that not only other schools in the United States, but around the world do it differently. But a lot of schools do it similar manner to us, but we simply want to be the fairest that we can and have that be when people apply to us. And then they follow a system that's fair, that we feel is fair, that they go into the waiting list, whatever group you fit into, that they get served as quickly as possible. So I know it's a crunchy one. That's why I wanted to take it on, because we hear you. And I think that we have made that choice over the last few decades, as far as to have it be the people that come to us first and get into line, and that we don't find ourselves in the position of deciding who, quote, needs a dog more than another person. So.
Yeah, Susan, I'm so glad that you brought this up for conversation. It's a theme that I think is important to address. I know there's been questions too, what happens if, I go home and something happens quickly and it doesn't quite work out after I've come in for training. And so just to add a little bit of clarification in terms of that piece, maybe that would be helpful if there's kind of a quickly we realized that it was not the right team put together.
Absolutely, and that's happened not only in the last 5 years, but in my 30 years here. That if something happens quickly after graduation or something in that, sometimes it's within the first year, that we do prioritize that person coming in as fast as possible. And even and I know of situations that have happened in the last 2 years where someone that comes in to class and they've been waiting for such a long time, and then either the match doesn't work out or something happens, that we prioritize getting them back in within the next 3 months in a lot of times. So I think one of the things that I think is hard about the organization, there's so many factors, and we are so committed to looking at each situation. What is the right thing to do here? What's happening with this client? So I feel like it's hard to explain all of our processes and everything that goes into it. And I really like that we're really sharing how we get to our decisions. But it is a complex system. And anytime, you have humans and dogs in the mix, and life happens to everyone. And so we really are trying to do our best to make this as fair as possible, and to, get people dogs as quickly as we can.
Thank you, Suzanne. I know we're at 5. If I think there's a couple questions I think are important that I want to make sure we get to talk about. There's a couple folks who asked for clarification around what is pre-schedule, and can I become someone who gets pre-scheduled? And so I just want to kind of clarify, pre-schedule our folks where we could be pretty darn confident that when your class date comes, if we schedule a class date, that we will have a dog available that meets your particular needs and preferences. But Vanessa, Cheryl, Susan, do you want to say more about what pre-scheduled versus is for folks?
Yeah, as Vanessa mentioned, someone that walks in that average pace needs that dog that basically they don't need anything particular, such as a golden retriever only, or black Labrador female only, or maybe there's environmental needs that are very specific that would make us look for a more specific type of dogs. So somebody that is open and fits certain criteria, those are the people that we would pre-schedule, because we have more dogs in our dog population that would fit that. If someone walked at a fast or slow pace, for example, we would have to take a look a little differently to find those particular dogs, or if they needed an in-home training or something like that. Vanessa, did you want to add to that?
Thanks, Cheryl. Yeah, I think it comes down to matching client and dog, really. The way that we've sort of set up our system. And so for those that are pre-scheduled, we're looking at the individual factors on the person side, and determining this is someone who we feel like we can give class dates to ahead of time, and we feel confident we will have an appropriate match. And that we could still get a curveball, with someone who's pre-scheduled. It's rare, but it does happen where we get closer to the class dates and we're looking at the pool of dogs that we have available to match with someone, and we decide we don't have an appropriate match, and we get in touch with that person, and then we're finding the next opportunity to bring that person in for class that works for all. So that does happen, again, rare. And then those that aren't pre-scheduled, again, it comes down to those particular factors that relate to finding the best match for you. So it's complex. It's a difficult thing to describe, and there are a number of variables. So I get why there might be questions, even though I did my best to describe this system and give you that background. So if it's still not coming through clearly, I don't know, maybe a one-on-one phone call could help, calling the support center and talking it through. So anyway, I hope that addition is helpful to someone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There was a question that was just asking too, how do I minimize maybe the gap if I'm working a dog right now between a dog retiring and getting my next guide? And Vanessa, Cheryl, Susan, I'm sure you have thoughts about this. I think there are a lot of folks who maybe this is the first time that you've had a gap between guide dogs because in the past you know things were maybe a little more predictable, and we realize that that is challenging for folks. I don't know that there's a way we can give you a surefire answer of here's how you guarantee it, because things happen and a dog needs to retire, and maybe you are in process with your application. I do think it's good if you're starting to feel like it may be time for my dog to retire in the next year, maybe that's a time to put in your application. Vanessa, Cheryl, would you recommend anything different?
Vanessa, no, I think you're just right, Lauren. And we are seeing more of that. So clients who feel like they're nearing the time. They might not be able to pinpoint when that is exactly, but they're nearing the time. Are starting to put their applications in. So that would be our general advice right now. Yeah.
So I feel like, so we're at 5:08. I know we anticipated maybe wrapping up about 5 o'clock. There are a number of questions that I see for folks that are about somewhat about your individual situations that I think we're probably better able to answer in a one-on-one conversation versus in this forum. So I do encourage you to reach out to us about your individual situation. As I mentioned, you could call the Sports Center, you can email them. And if I can be of help, you can also call and ask to speak with me or email me. And my email address is lkenny@guidedogs.com, and that's KENNEY. Ryan, I know you've been typing answers. Any last thoughts before I don't want to catch you mid-answer. Let you finish up. Any other questions you feel are kind of really important to squeeze in here before we finish up?
No, I've just been typing. So
Thank you all for being here today. It's really wonderful to see how many people have joined us. We know you care about this. We care about this, and it's important that we have the opportunities to communicate with all of you. And thank you, of course, always for your understanding and patience, which has been amazing as always. Any last thoughts from anyone else on the panel before we say goodbye for now, but not forever?
No, thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, everyone. Really appreciated having the opportunity to speak with you all. And yeah, thanks everyone for being here.
Thank you, everybody. Again, there will be a link that will be available for recording. It does take us just a little bit to make sure that we have checked all of our accessibility boxes before we send that out. So probably in about 2 weeks, I would imagine we can commit to having that out to you. Call us if you have individual questions. We appreciate your feedback as well, as we look towards regular updates on a quarterly basis. So we thank you for now. We'll say good night and look forward to talking to you all again in the future. All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you. And good night.
Bye.